Coming up on today's show, we're going to be breaking down some positional changes for the Crimson Tide as they get ready for their bowl game against Michigan. Not just Jaylen Mbakwe, another player is changing positions as well, at least for this bowl game anyways. We're also going to talk some draft decisions. A lot of guys for Alabama have some decisions to make after the bowl game, whether or not they're going to be going off to the NFL draft. Also going to break down some of the latest transfer portal news and rumors out there for the Crimson Tide, as well as the JaMarcus Shepard to Washington State rumors that we talked a little bit about last week. We got some new news today on that front as well. Make sure you guys are also subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We're going to be live for Alabama's bowl game coming up here against Michigan in a couple of days. And, look, we've got free news and rumors videos for you all year long. Just because the season ends does not mean we will stop making videos here. We were trying to beat that December 2023 number. Might not be able to do it here just with a couple days left in December. But, look, the more subs we get, the better chance Alabama has at making it to the national championship next year. So make sure you hit that sub button for me right now. All right, first thing, we're going to look at some positional changes here for the Crimson Tide. Jaylen Mbakwe, we do know he has been practicing at that wide receiver position for Alabama. He's also changing to that number 6 that Kobe Prentice wore this year. Of course, Jaylen Mbakwe wore number 9 for the entire season this year. But I do think that this is going to be really exciting, having Jaylen Mbakwe on the offensive side of the ball at that wide receiver position. Because you remember back during his high school days, man, he played pretty much everything. And I think you do need a little bit of help, at least next year, at that wide receiver spot. I think if you have what you have right now going into next season, you're going to be pretty set there. We're going to talk about Germie Bernard here on the back half of today's video, but got Ryan Williams, got Isaiah Horton coming over from Miami. Jalen Hale should be back from his injury. He's been practicing with Alabama in their bowl prep. Got a pretty big bulky knee brace on that knee, but he's out there running routes at, a quarter speed, half speed, whatever it is. But look, I've got a lot of confidence in the guys that you have at that wide receiver spot, and I think just adding Jaylen Mbakwe is just going to be even better for you at that wide receiver spot. I think this year, a lot of the woes and inconsistencies that you saw at that wide receiver position, unfortunately, I think a lot of it had to do with Jalen Milroe. But look, you had Jaylen Mbakwe in there. Hopefully, Ty Simpson, as we expect, is going to be a guy that's going to be able to sling the ball around for you next year. And this kid was absolutely electric in high school. Whether he was playing wide receiver, kick returner, running back, quarterback, whatever it was, this kid was insane. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm very, very excited to see what Jaylen Mbakwe can do for Alabama on the offensive side of the ball. And it seems like we're going to get a little bit of a taste of that during the ReliaQuest Bowl against Michigan. So let me know here at the pinned comment of today's video. Are you guys excited to see Jaylen Mbakwe on the offensive side of the ball? I know I certainly am. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Go ahead and type Y for yes or N for no, especially if that ad comes here on YouTube. Some more positional changes here. Elijah Pritchett has been working at that left tackle position in lieu of Kadyn Proctor's injury. Now, we knew about Kadyn Proctor's injury, but we didn't necessarily know who was going to be the guy to flip over there to that left tackle position. I thought, there was a chance that it was going to be Elijah Pritchett, considering he was over there at the beginning of the season when Kadyn Proctor was out in the first 2 games of the season. Seems like Wilkin Formby is going to be back there at that right tackle spot. So we'll see what happens. You guys probably know by now how I feel about Elijah Pritchett. Don't think he's the best, but shoot, Wilkin Formby had some ups and downs when he was in there at that right tackle position as well. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, I hope he goes out there and I hope he plays well. But look, at the end of the day, I guess it's just a good thing that you have, experience somebody who has been over at that left side because, it's a little bit of a different get off, whether on your right side or the left side as well. So we'll see what happens, but as of right now, it looks like Elijah Pritchett is going to be working at that left tackle position during the ReliaQuest Bowl. Now, there are multiple players, that we're going to end up discussing eventually when it comes to the NFL draft. But Germie Bernard and JaMarcus Latham were two guys specifically asked by Alabama media during their bowl preparation if they made a decision whether or not they were going to be going off to the NFL draft. And neither guy has committed to going and declaring for the NFL draft. Now, when it comes to Germie Bernard, I think he is a guy that you absolutely want back. Really bolster that wide receiver core and really just bring it together. I think he's going to be a top 2 wide receiver for you next year. He's got the opportunity to go for 1,000 yards, him and Ryan Williams. See what kind of, what Isaiah Horton can bring to the table. And you're also adding Jalen Hale into the mix and some of those other guys as well. So I would love to see Germie Bernard come back next season for you at that wide receiver spot. But when it comes to JaMarcus Latham, I really don't know if you really need him back. And that's not to say I don't like JaMarcus Latham or anything like that. But neither guy, JaMarcus Latham nor Germie Bernard, is listed right now in the top 250 players on the Pro Football Focus Big Board for the 2025 NFL Draft. And I think at times JaMarcus Latham played really well for you. Despite the, only 2 TFLs, only 1 sack on the season. Some of those stats aren't really stats that you really need to look for, at the defensive line spot. A lot of the times, you're looking at stops and, things like that for those defensive linemen. But really my thing when it comes to JaMarcus Latham is really at that bandit position. I think if he decides to stay, there might be a little bit of a backlog at that bandit position going into next season, because LT Overton is another guy that we are going to be monitoring whether or not he goes off to the NFL draft or not. I think he was at like 34, 36, something like that on that PFF big board. So I do think LT Overton, there's a very good chance that he goes off to the NFL draft. But you also have Jordan Renaud. You have Keon Keeley, who also switched to number 8, by the way. So if you see Keon Keeley in the bowl game, he's going to be wearing number 8 for that. You also got Collins from Florida out of the transfer portal as well. Also, we'll see if Cavante Henry plays that bandit or that wolf spot. Kind of think he's going to be playing more of that wolf spot. But my biggest fear is I don't want a backlog at really any position. We've talked about it at the quarterback position, whether or not Jalen Milroe is going to come back. I think he's going off to the NFL draft. But look, Keon Keeley is a guy that I really want to play next year. Jordan Renaud is a guy that got some playing time this year as well. So we'll see what happens, but I'll be honest. I kind of would like it if JaMarcus Latham went to the NFL draft, but it would probably also help him if he came back for another season. So we're just going to have to wait and see on that front. So let me know here in the comments section one more time, guys. Should JaMarcus Latham declare for the 2025 NFL draft? Go ahead and let me know. Type D in the comment section if you think he should declare, or type R if you think he should return for another season with the Crimson Tide. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor today, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Super easy to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Won your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. You can join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. One of my favorite things about Prize Picks is you can go with a power play or you can go with a flex play. This was our slate for this weekend's slate of games. We did the flex play on this, so you can still get one wrong and still come out on top. Went with a Rico Dowdle more than rushing yards. He ended up hitting that today against the Philadelphia Eagles. Going to have to wait and see on Jared Goff for Monday Night Football, but went with a more than on passing yards for him. And then, unfortunately, Hunter Henry did not get to that 42.5 receiving yards mark. We went with a more than there, but like I said, we went with the flex play. So you can still get one wrong and still come out on top. So download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. One more time for you guys. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You do not even need to win to get the $50 bonus. It is just guaranteed. That link's in the comments section and the description of today's video. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. On to some transfer portal news here now. Alabama, Corey Gordon Jr., safety out of Baylor. He visited Alabama. We talked about him last week. He visited a couple weeks ago. Now he is supposed to be going on a visit to Cal on January 3rd. So like I said, he is a safety, was a safety for Baylor, but I just don't necessarily know if Alabama really needs more safeties. I think if he was a corner, maybe you have an opportunity there, but we'll have to, wait and see on what really he values. Does he want to be a starter? Because if he's looking for some starter reps, I really don't think you're going to get that if you end up coming to Alabama. Now, he did leave his visit with an offer, but like I said, he's most likely going to be a backup there if he were to commit to Alabama because, look, safety right now is just not a major need for Alabama. Really, a lot of those DB spots are really starting to fill in nicely after Alabama got hit, by the transfer portal after Nick Saban retired. You remember a lot of those guys ended up hitting the transfer portal for Alabama. But Malachi Moore is the only guy that you're losing, who is on the roster right now anyways. Obviously lost a couple guys. Devontae Smith obviously hurt, hurt losing him anyways. But, the transfer portal, it closed yesterday on December 28th, which, doesn't affect Corey Gordon Jr., in any way because he's already in the transfer portal. And it does also open up for 5 days after the bowl game. So not going to affect him, but technically it could affect some Alabama players if they wanted to play in the bowl game and then hit the transfer portal, which in my opinion doesn't make a whole lot of sense anyways. But just a little note for you guys, though. But as of right now, Corey Gordon Jr., safety out of Baylor, he is also going to be visiting Cal on January 3rd. So Alabama right now has gotten 5 transfer portal commitments in the last couple of weeks here. And, if you guys remember this weigh-in a couple weeks ago, we asked over or under 5.5 transfer portal players for Alabama. We're right at that number 5 mark. So let me know, type O for over or U for under in the comments section of today's show. We also talked about JaMarcus Shepard the other day. He was linked to the Washington State head coaching job. You see right here, Ross Dillinger from Yahoo Sports reported this yesterday that South Dakota State head coach Jimmy Rogers was expected to take the position. Well, I checked on Twitter, and as of, me filming this video, it says 2 hours ago, Jimmy Rogers put out a thank you statement to South Dakota State University, and he has officially taken that job at Washington State. So as of right now, I think it was pretty logical linking JaMarcus Shepard to Washington State. He's coached there before. He's been a West Coast guy, came over with Kalen DeBoer from Washington. So no more worries anymore if you wanted JaMarcus Shepard to return to Alabama. As of right now, anyways, that's at least one coaching spot that has been filled. So JaMarcus Shepard will not be the next head coach of Washington